Hey, how's it going? This is Mr. Hernandez, and I am going to be going over function notation, evaluating linear and exponential functions. So here, this is a linear function. If you would put this into a calculator, graphing calculator, it would be a line. And then this is an exponential function. If you put this in a graphing calculator, it will be an exponential function. So the first thing to know is when you are asked, what is f of 2 equal, you need to understand that this first term is the x and this is the y, which is like the same thing as saying that this is the input and what is the output. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in where we see x, we're going to plug in a 2. So let me highlight this. So this is where we're going to plug in the 2, okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this down here. So instead of f of x, I'm going to write f of 2, and I'm just copying all this here, equals 3, and then I'm going to, instead of x here, notice that 3 and the x are touching, so that means they're multiplying. So I'm going to put multiplying here as well. And usually, you can put in parentheses as well. But that value is x, so I'm going to put a 2 and then minus 1. So notice that each of these terms gets carried down, except for instead of x, I'm writing a 2. Okay. So then I'm going to simplify, and this stays the same, but this stuff simplifies. So that's 3 times 2. We're going to follow PEMDAS, bring down the 1. Keep on rewriting this. 6 minus 1 is 5. So this would be the answer. If they would ask you this question up here, your answer would have to include this with the answer, with the output. It's basically like saying the complete sentence when x equals 2, y equals 5, or when the input is 2, the output is 5. So again, if you're looking on this side, if I say what is f of 2 equal on this side, I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually, this is not f, this is a g. So we name functions different letters because it's important to know, whether you're plugging it into this one on the left or the one on the right. So we use different letters. But in this case, the x is where the exponent is. And so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this here. Instead of g of x, I'm going to write g of 2 equals 2 times 7 raised to the second power. Again, wherever you see the x, you're going to basically replace it with a 2. And so these two places, there was an x, now it's a 2. Okay, so this is going to still be g of 2 equals, and then following PEMDAS, we're going to do the exponent first. So 7 raised to the second power first, which is 7 times 7, which is 49. And in this case, there is also this multiplication going on since the 2 and the parentheses are touching. So we're going to go ahead and bring down that 2, and it's going to basically multiply with the 49. So g of 2 equals, let's see, that's 18, that's 98. And so there is your answer. When you input a 2, your output is a 98. And I just want to go over one more example that you might see. Let's try it with this one on the left. So it might say, what is x when f of x equals, let's say, 14. Okay. So what this is asking is pretty much, this is basically saying y equals 14, or the output is 14. So what does the input have to be? We got to figure out what are we going to put in the input. So what I'm going to do is rewrite, this entire function here. So I'm going to write f of x equals 3 times x minus 1. But instead of instead of plugging in for x, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug in for f of x. So where I see this entire f of x, I'm gonna put a 14. So I'm gonna put a 14 here equals 3x minus 1. And so what we're doing now is we're solving. So we gotta solve for x. And so in order to solve for x, we're gonna have to do the opposite, do the addition subtraction first. 14 plus 1 is 15 equals 3x. And then we have this, to get x by itself, we got to get rid of this 3 that's multiplying by dividing. So we're going to divide by this coefficient. And so now we have x equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. And so that would be the answer for this one. Another method could be to plug this into a graphing calculator, and you're really looking for when y is 14, what is the x value? So, I mean, let me just do that real quick. F of x equals 3x minus 1. So if I put that into this f of x, I could just write 3x minus 1, that's fine. And then what I'm going to be looking for is 3x minus 1. I'm going to look for when y is 14. What is the x? What is the x when the y is 14? So I could pretty much put this in here. Here's my points. All right, so here's my points. So there it is. This point right there, when y is 14, x is going to be 5. And so it's right here. And also you could look at it right here. So when x equals 5, the y value, or f of x, equals 14. And so you're kind of working your way backwards if you're using the graph. But notice you get the same answer if you're solving this algebraically.